And and Kautar is gonna be with us for a long time tomorrow, but a little moment today. It's also her birthday today, so let's say happy birthday. So because of that, thank you. Okay, do you need this one?
Oui, 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 très bien.
Okay, so,
Alors, I learned this from my grandmother. You know, in Tunisia, she used to put everything in her bra, you know? And then probably the ones who are in Muslim countries, they know that, this big bra. And then sometimes she has these keys, you know, these old Arab houses, they have huge keys. And then you see the bra, the things coming, chuk, chuk, chuk. So this one also. Okay, alors, I would like you please to stand up. And then to have your feet as wide as your hips, chest is up, and you start shaking your knees. So the dance I'm sharing with you tomorrow, we're gonna have more time. We have like about 45 minutes where I'm gonna give you a little lecture and also with a dance, integrating, because that's my spécialité. So, and today I will do with you also because you asked me, thank you so much. So it's thanks to, sorry, Umran, she got the idea. So applause to Umran. Because she told me, are you dancing? I said, yes. She said, when? I said, tomorrow at 4. She said, oh, tomorrow I am leaving. So I thought like, okay. So to honor her and also our Turkish guests and every one of you, of course, because this is coming from the tradition where we all come from. So you bend your knees. This dance is called in Arabic, رقصة الإلهات, originally dance of the goddesses, and it's more than 4,000 years old. So I did not invent it, but I got the privilege to inherit that from my female lineage in Tunisia. So we say also in Tunisia, after you eat, we always say, let's digest the food, which means let's dance. So it helps also with the digestion. So you shake your knees here, you roll your shoulders to the back. Maestro, Matteo, please, number 1. Rise. One side. This. Allez, allez, encore. Hey. Shake. Allez, shake your derrière. Go down. Pelvis to the front, not like, no, this. Woo, ha! Power, allez! Shake. More. Hey! Hands. Attention! Push away. Negative people, out. Push, like I don't want this. Out. Allez. The hands, the fingers, féminin. Check. Out of my energy field. Arms. Close the legs. Shimmy. Allez. I call this movement les Kalashnikov. That was 2 minutes, and now we have 3 minutes sensuel. We start always with fire movements. And then after we go to water movement. Hands. Hips, hips, expand, 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 expand. Expand with your femininity, with the power of the feminine. Expand, expand. That feminine energy, the softness, la sensualité, doucement. Hop. Expand. Take space. Expand. Take more and more space. Stop shrinking. Expand. The feminine needs to take more space. More space. More, more, more. Hands. La femininity is in the fingers and the hands. And rise. The higher intelligence. Allez, allez, allez. My grandmother used to call this the higher intelligence, which is true. It's the intelligence of the heart. What does it mean? I lead from the heart. I lead from the heart. Allez, allez, allez. More, strong, strong heart, like a lioness. And squeeze the pelvic floor muscles. The power is coming from here. Many of you are mothers, no? Many of you are mothers. When you push the baby out, come on. Strong here, hope. Allez. Connection between the heart and the womb. And voila! Thanks to
Wow. Thank you. So, thank you, Kautar, and again, happy birthday to you. I'm now happy to introduce Umran Beba, who again will introduce Eli, and we will, Amina and Umran. For those in the room that don't know you yet, she's an amazing woman with a long-standing career, an expert in diversity, equity, and inclusion, but much more. She had a 25-year-long experience in PepsiCo, reached the whole, from Turkey all the way to different countries, head of Asia, and then New York, in the headquarters, HR, diversity, equity, and inclusion, founded Beba Foundation, and now working worldwide with August leadership on the field of diversity, equity, inclusion. So I'll let you interview and talk to Amina and also introduce her.
Thank you, Qatar. Thank you for the, beautiful, nice. Yeah, we are just going. Okay. And I will introduce. Yeah, we need a little space, I think, just to look at each other. Okay. So it's an honor and pleasure to have Emine Sabancı Kamışlı from Turkey, my homeland. And she's basically the co-founder of SS Holding as well as the vice chairwoman. And she's with us today to talk about SS Holding, but more SS Social or Social, which is the social investment unit. And I think we will need the second mic, if possible, for our speaker. So first, I will let her introduce a little bit the overall organization, and then I have a couple of questions where she will talk about what they are doing about youth, girls, employment, everything we want to hear today and tomorrow and in the future, I guess. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christine, for this very nice organization, and Min, thank you. And welcome to all of you as well. My name is Emine Sabancı Kamışlı. I founded ESAS in year 2000. And ESAS is active in 6 continents now. And it has several investment vehicles globally in these 6 continents, in private equity, real estate, venture capital, wealth management, and Esas Sosyal. And we've started as a family business, which had the motto of saying that this is a wealth creation mechanism for the family. It's not a job creation mechanism. I think this is one of the important things for viability of family businesses. And I'm very happy to say that we've come a long way in sticking to this principle with important values. For us, team is a key. Team and sharing, and not knowing what you don't know, and admitting what you don't know is a key for success. And being good citizens, responsible citizens, and doing whatever we do in a sustainable way. We've come almost 25 years now, and we're around $7 billion assets under management. You may know some of the companies that ESAS is invested in. Pegasus Airlines is known to all of you, I'm sure. And for example, Birkenstock, for example, TikTok. These are the sexy names, so I'm not going to go into the others. But other wonderful thing is that over the years we've seen other family businesses investing in our vehicles. This is very important for our viability as well, because it's auto-check. They respond to our givings on the investment lines. And Harvard Business School has made us a case study. And they do case studies once, maybe twice. But in 2 weeks' time, I'll be in Harvard again for the 6th time. And if you go online, they're selling the case at $11.95.
Oh my God.
Yes. And it's one of the best sold cases. That's not the topic today, but it's on the viability of family businesses, how you can still be a family, invest together, and have a sustainable business. This is what we're striving for, because all of us shareholders believe that we're just guardians. Nothing is your own forever. So you need to make sure what you do is sustainable. So this is our story on the overall group side.
Thank you very much. There's a lot to read online. You can check. But if you do the conference in Istanbul soon, Christine, it looks like Pegasus is flying from many locations in Europe and beyond. So we will welcome you very much. So today's topic is about youth, employment. What are the challenges facing young people today in terms of work, enjoying work, but finding work actually first?
Ümran, I think we have to address the issue in a realistic way. I don't accept it when they say it's the economic downturn. That will always happen. You need to be prepared. But I think the mindset is very important. And I often think about these things, and we do a lot of research in our Esas Sosyal with the youth. Now, there are certain things that are very important for me. With this technology, ever-changing environments, a lot of habits are changing. I think one of the important challenges for the youth is that the primary educator of the youth is no longer effective. That's the parents. Because I'm sure you have children and you all have the same problem, that the aspirations, in my time there was a generation gap with my parents, but now it's more than a generation. So the primary educator is no longer effective. This is, I think, family values is important, and I think this is a danger to society. Also, I think there's a mismatch between what the industry needs and what's taught at universities. I know there are some academicians here, but I strongly believe that in 10 years' time, we will not have the classic university, because the prefabricated curriculums are no longer so relevant. In our part of the world, it's a great honor to go to a university. They go to university, they come out with more unemployment. So we need to rethink this, okay? And of course, in this day of technology where everybody gets to know everything immediately, youth obviously follow this. I think one of the most important problems is that youth have forgotten to be patient. Patience is a virtue, and if you want meaningful achievements in life, you need to persevere. But now the youth are just saying, I want it now. If not, I'll move on to the next job. So we're seeing huge staff turnover in the youth. And I think in 1360, poet William Langland, he said patience is a virtue. That's still effective today. Some things don't change. We may have disruptions, but some things don't change. I think these challenges are in general, but if we look at Turkey-wise, we have wonderful youth, educated youth. 50% is less than 35 years old, and these are educated. We put a lot of effort into it, 220 universities in the last 20 years. But we didn't plan it well. We gave the hope, and hope is the most important thing for this youth. If they're hopeful, they can create. They can dream and create and be beneficial to their communities. So we did the quantity, now we have to do the quality. And in that, similar to the general one, the mismatches need to be solved. And we have, for example, 1 in 4 university graduates are unemployed in Turkey. And among women, this is like 50%. This is awful. And when we started our program, it was 11 months on average of unemployment after graduation. Now it's 15 months. So we need to altogether analyze these very well. And there are barriers to the job space, like language. We have to address that. There are barriers that the university is new. The human resource person doesn't want to take the responsibility of hiring from an unknown university. We need to open their mindset as well. And we need to make sure that we're a very giving society in Turkey. We love giving. But giving is a responsibility. You need to follow what you've given. If you're not going to follow, don't give, because because you're handling somebody's hopes. You're touching somebody's life. If you're just writing the check every month, that's not the social investment. You need to be responsible on what happens. You need to track it. We've seen cases in Iran, we're still advocating against this. They say, but madam, to me, I give 300 scholarships. Fine, that's great. But what happened to that 300? What do you mean? I said, you cannot track everybody, but how many of them did your HR call for an interview? None. I said, okay, let me put it this way. You run a factory, you buy a machine because you need it in the production, and then the production manager says, no, I don't even want to test the machine. I said, this is something wrong. In corporate culture, there's something wrong. We do a lot of this in Turkey, unfortunately. So we need to get our mindset, in the way our hearts are good, we need to match that.
So you wanted to change this paradigm and you established Esas Social as a social investment firm. So this is not a non-profit, but it's a business unit. So what are you doing with Esas Social to address these challenges?
Okay. Now, we treat Esas Social as a business line, as you said. And in any business line, you have to work towards common goals. It has to be sustainable. It has to be measurable. It has to be accountable. It has to be run with KPIs. Otherwise, success is not long-term viable. So when we started in 2015, we said our target will be the youth, because that's the greatest asset in Turkey. Our target will be the inequalities this youth is facing in access to the job space. And we said our approach will be research-based and measurable, and it should be actually sustainable beyond us, because we're just guardians, as I said before. And methodology, we said we're going to create an ecosystem rather than an ecosystem. So what we did a lot of research, and we said, where's the problem? The problem is with these universities, they're not known. And we identified government universities, and we said, if they are unemployed, if they come from the top 15% and they are unemployed, that's a different topic. That's economic downturn, whatever. If they come from universities in the 15%, the bottom tier, they shouldn't have been in university anyway. So we said we'll address 70% in the middle of second-tier universities, and we said there are jobs. So we went to NGOs, and we said to the NGOs, if you had money, what position would you open up? And real jobs came out: accountant, PR, human resource. Real jobs in the private sector came up. This was with the first program, First Chance program by Şevket Sabancı. And so what happened was that we started working with these NGOs. We matched the kid with the NGO. They work there for 1 year, real job. We donate their salaries to the NGO. And we give them 250 hours of World Economic Forum soft skills. We give them English. They have mentors. They have mock interviews. Can you imagine a second-tier university, unknown to a lot of people, a graduate from there, is having a mock interview with Coca-Cola's human resource manager? That's priceless, you know? And so that program was started in, first year was 16, now we're in year 9, and unemployment rate is 1%. 1%. This is, and we don't actively work for their employment. 86% get a job offer before the year is up. So this is, it's been, we have, where are you, Elif Nur? We have a representative. She's going to say a few words at the end.
At the end, yes.
You can say it now, actually. You can say it now. Elif Nur was with us, and she comes from exactly this kind of university, but she's building a wonderful career, and she wants to say a few words.
Hello, I am Elif Nur. I'm really excited to be here and learn from the inspiring women leaders attending. I have graduated from lesser-known university in my country, and I was struggling to find a job because of that. I was an honor student, but I couldn't find a job for a long time. And then I have gained my first work experience in the NGO through First Chance program. It was an invaluable opportunity for me to develop my skills and gain hands-on experience in my field. And graduating from this program made me more confident, self-aware, and well-equipped. And as a naturally introverted person, I was more confident, comfortable in social environments. I'm so excited. And the network it provides is really important because we are like a huge family, and we are supporting each other. We are sharing our stories. And I truly owe a lot this program. And I believe it's time for me to give back and contribute to the next generation. After all, I was once in their shoes, and I believe I am the living proof of the success of this program. Now I'm working for a global company, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
How wonderful.
Bravo, Elif Nur. Elif Nur is one of the 1,500 students that we are very proud of. Thank you. Thank you. And another side of the First Chance program was that NGOs, most of you worked in them, they have a problem in human resources and funding. So this program helps contribute in terms of human resource, free personnel to the NGO. But more importantly, and it really gives me great joy to say this, that 40% of our participants in the NGO choose to remain in the NGO. So raising the awareness that NGO is a sector is very important for us also. So that was the first chance. Then we had to go into, we looked and we said immediately we need to do the English program. And this was for last year university students in the same segment, lesser known universities. And Hayırlı Sabancı, named after my mom, program started, and it's in year 4. And we also give them extra academic lessons, and they bond together. And the beauty here is that the completion rate of the program is 1 year online program. 1 year online completion rate is very difficult to achieve. We are working here with Berlitz, which is global, and for the last 3 years, we've hit 92% completion rate. This is including the time that we had the awful earthquake, where there was no internet, or limited access to internet. So the second best, according to Berlitz, is Boeing Company in Seattle at 82%. This is very, very important for us. How did we achieve that? This is one of the things that we need to give hand in hand. We said, you have to choose the correct student, okay? There are 500 of them at a time. But that takes time and money. But we said we have an ecosystem. We have people who donate to us. We have NGOs, and they all give scholarships. So they've already made that investment in that kid for 3 years. why shall we go and find a fresh one? Let's build the blocks on what's invested, okay? And the first year, 30%, and now in the fourth year, I think 83% of the 500 has come from the ecosystem. This is so valuable. We need to get hand in hand. This is the key to success.
So you already mentioned, Emine Hanım, the partnerships. But I want to hear and see if possible, like what kind of partnerships are critical in this program or ecosystem?
Sure. Now, partnership, as said, at ESAS, at the holding level, we know what we don't know, but we know the person or the corporate who knows what we don't know. So I think partnership here is not money. We are not after fundraising, we are after partnership raising, okay? I hope you'll have more chance to go deeply into the programs, the alumni as well. But if at the moment, for example, we're working on a mapping system of what everybody is doing in the ecosystem. Because funds are scarce, no matter who you are. Scarce, you have to be intelligent about it. Warren Buffett gave to Bill Gates Foundation, I read last week, it was $43 billion. Why? Because he said funds are limited. This is a lesson taught. If he'd set up his own NGO, he wouldn't be told so much. So we need to say, if you're good at something, if fits the program, let's go on your train. Or you want to do something, go on my train, okay? But whatever we do collectively, it needs to be measurable, don't forget, because we're handling human hopes, right? So we've seen the effects of this partnership. Elif Nur said that we're a big family now. I'm now saying that you don't need to have blood relationship to have a family. In this day and age, where everybody is disrupted from their localities and families, you need to belong somewhere. This program is giving a chance of belonging to something. This is very important, and we learned this lesson. We saw it exactly at the earthquake time, how they bonded. They helped each other. These kids or youth graduates who haven't actually met each other through WhatsApp were able to give tents or organize the flights from Pegasus or XYZ. It was a huge community, huge community. And also, we see the effects, Ümran, that what we've created in this program won an award in the USA for a solution, as a solution to youth unemployment. We've got several awards, and we work with other people, our donors. We don't touch the money, right? But we measure ourselves. Return on investment, everybody measures. But I think we're the first ones in Turkey to measure the social return on investment of what we've done. For those of you who are familiar with it or not, I don't know, 1 is okay. Anything above 1 is good. In the first try, we got 2.52. And we measured ourselves against the developed world examples. We're not in the top, but we're above the median. So we need to collectively, all of us, because it's a problem in Turkey, it's a problem everywhere. Yeah. If we can find a good solution, we can share it together.
So this can go global.
It can go global, absolutely. Yeah.
So gender equality, as we are in a women's conference, I think is a critical part. And of course, our example here, Elif Nur, is a great example. But you also care about the gender equality in this program, I believe.
Yes. Yes. Now, the program says we're against inequalities. So if we go out and say we favor women, that goes against our saying. But we knew we didn't have to say this. because the job space makes that natural selection, right? And today, our graduates or the youth who are engaged in this program, 74% are women. Now, we know women are facing more inequalities, but I want to reverse it and say, in this program especially, that why 74%? Because they're unemployed more, that's why they apply? No. I want to say women are more intelligent. They see a good thing and they grab it. And I think the fact that they grab it, 74%, and like Elif Nur says, they all say it, we want to give back. I think women are more active in this as well. We have, I think, 83% connection rate to the program from the alumni. This is really important, you know. And because they want to give back. It happened to me. I don't want it to happen to somebody else. So for gender, we don't actively seek for it, but we promote it. Now, there are certain things we do. We carry out audits on ourselves, on what we do, okay? We have trainings, and we share these trainings with the corporates or persons in the ecosystem saying, you should do this too. And we've set out principles. If ever this 74 goes down to, for example, 60, yes, of course, we will interfere. But at the moment, we don't need to. It's a natural selection, and I think we've touched it in a very intelligent way. But I want to say this is very important. For gender equality, women need other women. But we don't need to forget that half of the world's population is women. The entire population of the world have women as their primary educator. So we need to respect and hold hand in hand for women.
So you established this program as like a social investment unit or business unit. What are the KPIs? Maybe we can quickly look at it.
Yes. As I said, we said this needs to be a program that's going to be viable beyond us. It is one of the business lines of ESAS. The boss is here. I do the talking, but the real boss is here, Özlem. And Özlem reports to the CEO. Özlem has KPIs, like the PE team has the KPIs. Özlem sits in CEO meetings. Özlem sits in to the board meetings because we can't say we are writing the check is finished. It needs to be treated, measured, whatever, and we need to show to our partners in their ESG programs that they can use this too, okay? So it's a fully business line of ESAS, and another differentiating factor is we don't touch anybody's money. This is a program, this business unit is a program that facilitates the funds to the correct places. We don't touch anybody's money, right? And so...
What is the call to action to this group? Because, I mean, you have heard most probably, but we have incredible stories here. High spirits, great motivation, excellent doers. So what is the call to action? What can we do for such a program?
Well, I think first of all, I would love to have you all look into it in detail, because I'm sure there are so many things that we can learn from so many of you. For this reason, we do a lot of roundtables from unrelated parties, but we're all related here. And also, I want to say call to action, please promote the idea that giving is a responsibility. This is a responsibility. Spending money is a responsibility, especially in this area, okay? And I would love to say that we've seen how it works, but make any ESG project that you do, or any NGO activity, make sure it's a part of the greater organization, because it's a fantastic bonding agent. We've had it measured within our organization, and all totally unrelated business units came back and said, this is an asset, it's a bonding agent in ESAS, in the ESAS universe. So.
Excellent. So what we will do with Christine, maybe organize a roundtable. Whoever is interested will let us know, and we will have an online roundtable with Özlem and the team. Thank you so much. This was incredible. Oh, there is a question or clapping? Which one? We have to actually stop. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There is a little gift inside.
Thank you.
And a little gift inside also.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you for. Then we are shifting gear. I'd like to ask the our speakers for this next session of this segment. And thanks again, Emine, for coming, and Umran for organizing and facilitating this. It's so nice to hear voices from around the world and innovative ideas. I would like now to ask Audrey, Paula, Kiki, and Julia to come join me. Do we have enough chairs? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing one chair. Can I have one more, please? I'll sit on the edge. And we reorganize a little bit. No, take it, yeah, take space. Yeah. Okay, he's coming on the other side. So. Paula. Kiki, you can go over there. Okay, now you may regroup a little closer to me, because this way. So we are in this afternoon addressing our careers or leadership, and I have invited 4 ladies to share their experience, their knowledge, and their thoughts and their feelings about all of this. So it's very interesting because Emine was sharing that giving is a responsibility because you're dealing with people's hope. So I think that was an interesting lead thought for leadership also, that we are leading people and ourselves with also giving hope. But let's introduce you, ladies, to the group in a short way. I know we are dealing with time always here at this meeting. So just I'd like to start with Audrey, actually. Audrey. She's a visionary entrepreneur, an executive strategy consultant, and renowned for her transformative approach to leadership and more specifically to business communication. She has a long experience in finance, and she's born in France. Journey spans many continents, London, Geneva, where she climbed the corporate ladder in the world of finance for more than 20 years, being executive director at Edmond de Rothschild Private Bank. So we'd like to hear from you first. Sometimes it's interesting to know who we have in the room. I know you went to some other banks also, but we will be short here. So Kiki is our other lady sitting here to the very right. She's Swiss-Nigerian, and she's founder and president of Hesed World Association, and she's been working for United Nations for more than 20 years. Again, another traveler, been all over the world and done a lot of interesting things. Julia is another of our speakers here today. She is an executive search partner and a leadership coach in Einwerk, and she's the CEO at something called Brain Booster. And she's an expert on negotiations and also traveled the world and done creative things and she's a mother and so on and so forth. So thank you. We look forward to hearing more from you. Paula Petri, she's the founder and CEO of Alexis Holistic Learning. And she says here that after a long tenure at the University of Miami Medical School, she embarked on a deeply personal quest to heal from the immense grief of her 12-year-old daughter's death. And this journey led her into the mysteries of consciousness, with which she works now. So we are privileged to have all of you with us today. And Audrey, can I start with you? Yeah. I'm so happy. So then we do that. Audrey, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Can we switch this off so I don't have the... I just want the lights from the ladies.
Pardon? The thing is, we are streaming, so there's something with the...
So
yeah, I know.
Okay. Bonjour à tous, je suis très contente d'être ici. Quand j'ai reçu le message de Christine par email, j'étais extrêmement heureuse et très enthousiasmée de pouvoir passer cette journée avec vous.
Are you going to continue in French? Are you where you speak French?
Language is a very powerful thing. Choosing the right language is important. Even more so, choosing the right words. And words can create excitement, they can create engagement, they can soothe, they can make people feel really good, they can unite and connect, or they can destroy, they can hurt, they can cause chaos, trigger wars, or just confusion, like some of you may have experienced just now. I have 14 minutes, I think, 12? 12 minutes, the Swiss in me is waking up, to persuade you that you can all make a difference in this world. You have a very, very, very strong superpower that nobody can take away from you, and that's your voice. Words matter, and your voice matters. Now, I heard this morning something that really touched my heart, that there is no small thing, it's incremental, there's the little things that we can do. Now, I want to remind you of something fun, that if you think that you're too small to make a difference in this world, try spending the night with a mosquito. I'm Audrey, I come from Switzerland, but I was born in France, as you can probably hear. And I spent 20 years of my life in France, and then I moved to London, and then I moved to Switzerland. Now, I started my career in finance, which was not at all what I was meant to be doing, because I studied languages and philosophy and civilization. And I loved all this stuff. Never graduated from anything, because I just got bored after everything I started. I just didn't finish it. And I moved to England for a 2-week holiday in 1998, and I never went home. That summarizes my life and my decision-making process pretty well. I ended up in finance, where I spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder, which meant the world to me at the time means nothing to me now, but that's okay. And I worked for investment banks, private banks, brokerage, private equity, 20 years, and being curious, learning fast, I kind of made my way around in the city in London and then in Switzerland. Today I run a communication consultancy. I'm doing very well, and I just want to share with you my story. I want, by the end of this talk, for you to feel powerful about your words, and I want by the end of this talk for you to understand why I'm so passionate about it. So let me take you through a story. It's not a nice one, but that's okay, we'll all finish with a nice smile. In January 2020, bear in mind I'm in Switzerland, I am remarried, third relationship lucky. I have a 16-year-old at the time and an 18-month-old, a little girl. And I have an accident, and I hurt my knee really badly. So I'm taken in for an operation, standard. My mother, who used to live in the north of France, decides to come and help out, because remember, I have a 16-year-old and an 18-month-old, couldn't move for a few weeks. And so she comes in and helps out with the girls. A week after the operation, I decide to take her out for lunch to say thank you. A nice, easy, cozy moment with my mother. We didn't have many of those because, of course, I was, in my corporate career, remarried, a child. She was living in the north of France. We always had this close relationship. I lost my dad young. He was 40 years older than her. And so, of course, this 25-year marriage still ended in the way that he died way before she did. And so, as I enjoyed this lunch with her, little did I know that this would be the last one. On our way home, she was driving. I was on the phone, work. And suddenly the car was kind of really picking up speed. And I was thinking, oh God, Mom, just stop it. This is a bit fast. It's a bit fast. Mom, it's a bit fast. And suddenly I looked, when you just look at the clock, what do you call it? The speed arrow. I was going up and up, and I go, what are you doing? And I realized she wasn't responding. So this talk is not about grief, and so I'm not going to go into the detail of what happened. I want to bring back the conversation, but I want you to understand that at this very moment where I knew there's nothing I could have done to prevent what's going to happen. And when the car came really, really fast, and I saw the baby on board sign in front of the car in front of me, I just took the wheel and took us right off the motorway. So up in the air, uprooted 3 trees, and I was finding myself there after a nice lunch, just a day that should have been another day in my life. I don't know how long it took for the police to get there. I don't know how long it took for the medics to get there. I don't know how long it took for the helicopter to turn up. But I remember being there, bruised, broken, and this guy coming in with a red jacket and say, I'm sorry, but your mother passed. There's nothing we could have done. Now, the story could end there. It actually went much, much worse. But that I will come back to later. And I was taken to hospital, and I didn't know what was going on. You're torn between the successful life and your kids and the day, and suddenly your life has come to a halt, and you just don't understand what's going on. You don't know what to do. And I thought, what have I missed? What is it that I didn't do? What is it that I didn't hear to get to this? As I was explaining to the police and everybody else what was going on, we realized that she had an epileptic fit. I didn't know what that was. I'd never seen it. I didn't even know she was suffering from it. So there's nothing I could have done. But then, through the inquiry, I found out my family knew. She knew. She was under treatment for it. What conversation didn't we have? Why wasn't these words mentioned to me before? How come this happened? What I want you to realize, at that very moment, it goes so fast in your head. While I was asking myself this and really wondering, I was taken into questioning into the police office at 11 o'clock at night because I was the one that caused the accident that took my mother's life. 2-year legal battle followed this grief to prove that I was saving people, and this wasn't intentional. Now, we can talk about justice and grief for another talk. What I want you to remember is that this conversation should have happened. We should have had this conversation. My family should have said something, but they thought she was going to tell me. She should have said something, but she was scared because she hadn't had episodes for months and months. She thought she was fine because she was told that only drunk people get epileptic fits. The shame of her belief, her fear of judgment caused all of this. A simple conversation, a clear, mindful, meaningful conversation could have changed the course of her life, my life, and everybody else around me. Now, up until then, I knew I was very good at communicating. Up until then, people came to me to brief them before their speech, before their board meetings, before their presentations. I was called in many ExCo meetings when I was working in banking to help people out, to prepare them, to make sure they were impactful. But this wasn't a professional calling anymore. This became a real life mission I was to get up every morning and make sure people had the conversation that could enlighten, that could unite, that could move, and that could potentially save lives. So today, I work with passion, I work with dedication. My clients are mainly corporates because that's the way I know it. That's the world I've grew up in. And I love it because that's also where most of the people are suffering from the lack of clear conversation. This is where people are lacking the courage to speak up and say when things matter, and they don't know how to do it. This is the world we live in today. And I have a 20-year-old, remember, and she doesn't spend hours on the phone like I used to with her friends. She snaps. She doesn't pick up the phone and talk to them. She walks around the street. Went shopping with her. Love that. I loved, that's mother and daughter time, right? And she just speaks to her phone and she records herself. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm sending vocals. Bloody call them. No. So in a world that's so connected, where all the tools are there to interconnect us, remote work, online, digital connection and communication tools, we are disconnected from each other. We don't have the courage to have those conversations. As we speak, and I mentioned this when we spoke, there is something quite amazing happening in the world, and it's called humanity's last exam. I don't know if you know about it. Humanity's last exam, despite what you might think it is nothing to do with humanity. It's actually testing AI. And how bloody smart is AI today? People from around the world, experts in their fields, in all kinds of fields, are sending over 1,000 questions to 2 AI largest companies to test just how AI is, how far it's gone. And so until the 1st of November, they're suggesting 1,000 questions from experts around the world, and they will be then testing AI on how bright it is, how smart it is, including on human reasoning capacity. I bet you AI will beat all those tests. I have no doubt. The question I ask myself, and I really do, and I think you appreciate how this is meaningful to me, is if we had a real humanity test, would we pass it? Would you pass this test if tomorrow we were asking you, how well do you identify, recognize, and voice your emotions? How well do you connect and communicate with the people around you? We all have inside of us a conversation that needs to be happening. A conversation that could really make it a difference, either for you or somebody around you. We all have those words, and we have a voice for it. We need to have the courage to do it in the right way. Next week, just as I speak now, I'll be speaking in Malta. I'm going away to run a leadership seminar for a client of mine. 4 days, 60 people. And I've been working with them for a while, so they know me, right? But they don't know my story because I don't go around telling my story. They're just, sharing it with you. But I want them also to realize that they will run a better company. They make billions already if they connect in the right way. So I'm inviting you to please reconnect with yourself, with the people around you. Have those conversations that you think don't matter. They'll do it tomorrow. You'll call her tomorrow. You'll call him later. Do it. Do it and reconnect with the right words to make a difference, because we can really all make a difference in this world. You have a voice. Use it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Audrey.
I have a surprise.
Oh, yeah?
I have a surprise. I would
Okay.
like everybody to get up, please. Because we all have a voice, and I have a song for you. There you go, please. Well, I do.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I said quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've
This is not going to stay with me. Oh, you're going to talk from there. Okay, okay. Kiki, thank you, Audrey. Thank you for reminding us about the power of our voice and having her sing so that the voice is also the voice. Thank you.
That I'm not quite sure how to come in, but it must have been quite hard. And I am so deeply sorry. And I know that you're using everything you have to just make that difference, because often sad situation actually helps us to be that connector so that we can help someone else. So thank you for sharing. Right, so here, it's my story. We've all got stories. And I decided to actually, I'm going to read my out, I'm sorry, if that's okay. I will ask you questions, though. So be attentive, if you don't mind. All right, so a little bit of background. I'm one of 42 children. Yeah. My father married 8 wives. My grandfather was a king. My mother on her side was a princess. And I was sent to boarding school. I was born in, even though I'm Nigerian, I was born in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. At the age of 5, I was sent to boarding school because, as you know, if you come from a prestigious family, and because we were colonized by the British, you go through that system. So I entered the boarding school there, and I remember Sister Angela. Sister Angela was a nun from all the way from Scotland. This woman was so wonderful and warm with me that I will never forget her. I think, and she's gone obviously, but still, she made an impact for me. But I never thought that I would be sent to boarding school in the United Kingdom. So that's how my journey came. So around about, let's say 11 years old, went to the boarding school. When I got there, we were different. So we were no longer the majority, we became the minority. And when I say we, my father said myself, my older sister, and my younger brother. And when we got there, I was petrified because I thought, oh my God, I don't know these people. And the tears was about to start rolling down. And then this blonde, same age, Louise Bofton, came and she held my hand. And all my tears and fears disappeared. So that's a journey I just wanted to start off with. Now, thank you for inviting me. We met this year, and it was important. I have to say, there's some meeting you meet someone, and they change your life, and the timing. So thank you, because Hesed World, which is Generation United, Change Ignited, was only formally formed and accepted by the Swiss government in August, and we met earlier. So now I'm here, so thank you very much. Now, I've thought about what to say. We talk about leadership. As you know, if you have a bad leader, your life will be miserable in a working environment, or even at home if your husband is not a kind person. Even though you work very hard, you can actually feel alone. So leadership is powerful. It's important. And if anything you do in this world, try and understand someone who's been led by someone who hasn't been led correctly. And try and put yourself in their shoes so that when you're making decisions, you are aware that those decisions have a huge impact. So, shifting leadership in today's world. This is where I go into. So leadership today looks vastly different than it did in the past. It used to be about expertise and control. Leaders were expected to have all the answers. But in today's rapid changing world, leadership has evolved. It's no longer about knowing everything. It's about adaptability, collaboration, empathy. Leadership today requires us to embrace ambiguity and foster innovation even in times of uncertainty. Through my work in the international development sector and as the founder of the ESED World, I have learned that modern leadership demands authenticity and vulnerability. Gone are the days we could pretend to have it all figured out. True leadership lies in stepping outside our comfort zones, embracing the diversity of people, ideas, and approaches. Please, I will highlight that diversity because Kirsten was saying to me she went to Abuja, and of course, she stood out. And I said to her, well, join the club. So during my time with the United Nations, across Geneva, New York, and Bangkok, I led efforts in disaster risk reduction, racial justice advocacy, environmental social governance framework. It became clear to me that leadership is no longer about one person leading from the front. It's about engaging with others, creating space of diverse voices, and allowing leadership to be a shared experience. So the takeaway, am I good?
No, fine, go.
Okay. So the takeaway, leadership today requires flexibility and a willingness to embrace change, not just in others, but in ourselves. Now, the next aspect of it is the feminine dimension of leadership. As a woman, we bring something unique to leadership. Traditionally, leadership has been seen through a masculine lens. We talked about that. Emphasize assertiveness, decisiveness, and power. But I believe that the world now needs the feminine quality of leadership, compassion, empathy, and nurturing. These traits are not weaknesses. They are the strengths that drive sustainable change. At ESED World, we emphasize, and thank God, Esra's the speaker before, she was talking about my passion. I was so happy. At ESED World, we emphasize intergenerational collaboration, pairing experienced professionals with change makers. Mentorship plays a critical role in this process, but it is not just about passing down knowledge. It's a reciprocal process that allows both the mentor and the mentees to grow. Can I ask any of you, have you had mentors that have changed your life? Anyone? Please. Who? Okay.
I met through WINConference, and she created a platform of women mentoring women in 2015, and now there are hundreds of women who have been mentored who are now mentoring other women for free.
Perfect. Excellent. Anyone else? Oh, excellent. Please.
I have my mentor here in the room at the back. Imran was my mentor for 1.5 years.
Oh, how wonderful.
And she helped me to prepare my future, really, so we're still working on it, but I mean, she was a great help.
Oh,
Finding here.
excellent. Thank you. You wanted to say something? Yeah, please.
For me, he was a senior leader who was simply exemplary in the way of his leading, and he was someone who asked questions rather than simply giving orders, and for me, he was a role model.
Excellent. Anyone else? The last person before? Yes, please.
So for me, it was my history teacher at school. So I was young, and then at university, it was one of the assistant professors.
Thank you very much. So then, let me take you to my story. So, I've been fortunate to have mentors who shaped my journey. There was Maria Moshandreas, as you know, by that name, she's Greek. And she pushed me to strive for excellence at university in the UK, in London. And Mr. Kilby, my Irish sports master at boarding school in the UK, who taught me discipline through tennis. Then there was my British boss at United Nations Environment Programme Finance Initiative in Geneva, who empowered me to bring environmental social governance standards to Nigerian financial institutions. And finally, I have to say, is Margareta Wångström, a Swedish lady. She was the head of the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction, the last UN organization I'd worked for. And this woman always said to me, Kiki, I'm not building you for what you are today. I'm building for what you're going to be tomorrow, because then you can give back to others. These mentors taught me that leadership is not just about leading others, it's about continually involving ourselves. So the takeaway, remember you're going to be questions. I'm going to question you and see whether you are listening. So women's natural traits of empathy and nurturing are not just valuable, but essential in today's leadership landscape. So what I did, my sister, who happened to be the first of the 42 children, economist by nature, and worked for my father, who was an industrialist, blah, 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 she decided to quit. Dad has spent money, he sent her to school in the UK, she did a master's in Boston, all sorts of things, and she worked for him, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, she said, no, I don't want to work for you anymore. And she decided to start looking after children. And she became a pastor, and she became an entrepreneur. She goes to the market ladies and get the market ladies explaining their finances. She goes to the prostitutes and then gives them an option. That she was also my role model, because she's bringing the element of spirituality into the fold. So, how many minutes do I have?
I think it's complete now.
Okay, so please allow me to say something that I think is very, very important. One was, and I never addressed it, and I'll stop. And this was, can I use the microphone? Because this is very... So, this is very important, because with all the things I've said, I went through hell in my workplace. It's the UN. It's the place where I'm supposed to have safety. I was supposed to have psychological safety there. But my goodness, as soon as Margareta left, who happens to not see any color, she just sees human. As soon as she left, the next day, I'm not joking, I was kicked out of my office. I was kicked out of my office, and I was replaced by, they said, oh, we don't, what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. The girl, the Dutch girl who was working with me, Tessa, God bless her soul, we would work until, 4 o'clock in the morning. We were buzzing after each other. We worked so well together. They won't renew a contract. Final thing that happened was that eventually they put my post and put it to New York. So I have to leave Geneva and go to the most uncomfortable place in the world. I mean, no, New York is not uncomfortable. I'm just saying it was during COVID. I know nobody, and it was terrifying. In the middle of all that, I lost my mom, and I couldn't go back to Africa to be with her. So there was a lot of pain. So that's when I reach up, because I can't afford to reach down. I can't look down, because otherwise I have nothing else to give to the UN. So basically, in the end, I just decided that I said, God, sorry for people who don't believe in God, but I do. I said, God, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. Help me. Then I was reminded of something. Remember the idea you had when you were doing your master's, your MBA, about you saw a Swiss Italian man depressed and he couldn't find a job, and you wanted to, through the social Harvard Business School, they do this book that they have on social entrepreneurship. So I actually did my project on that, saying that this guy is a valuable guy and he should be used because it costs the society more if you don't use this kind of people, right? So I was reminded that. The next thing I was reminded was my journey to different parts of the world. And I was reminded of the youth. Because again and again, I hear the boat people from Africa, this and that and that and that. I tell you, each time I hear it, it's like my gut. Someone was saying, you just feel like, wow, what are these leaders doing? What can we do to make that different? What can I do? And that's when I believe God said, why don't you mix those two together? And then I said, but what name shall I call it? And he said, well, what's your favorite words in the Bible? I said, loving kindness. So then, I know that people have issues with Israel right now, but so I was asked, what is it in Hebrew? I went into Google, and I put it in the Google, and then, I don't know how to do this. I don't know that I can. Okay, this one? Okay. So, this is what my company is about now. It's about not seeing faces. I don't care whether you're blue, pink. All I care is something in you that makes you human. Because I really believe that you can make a difference. And I'm actually happy I've gone through the issues I have been through, because then I wouldn't know what to say. Because don't forget, I was privileged, right? But through the pains of different things, actually allowed me to realize, Kiki, isn't it because why were you picked? You are African. There is an African woman, 4 o'clock in the morning, she's got a thing, she's walking around, she has no one. But why you? What is your purpose? What is your calling? And that was the reason why I am so excited about this. My call for action is, please join me. I just started, but the passion is there, and it's not going to die. Because every day, I move forward and forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Kiki, also for reminding us that, yes, you said you feel that pain in your belly, and that we are open and alive to it also. There are millions of people who are on all sorts of drugs to be numbed in some ways, And I spoke to one the other day, and she said, oh yeah, I'm so depressed. A lot of people are depressed these days. Of course, a lot of people are isolated, don't communicate. But those feelings are also serious, right? And so listening to them, so important. So on that note, thank you. We have to race to the next. Julia.
Good afternoon. I just have to work out how this works. Green? Oh, there we are already. So I see this room, Well, we'll get to that. So I'm Julia. I'm an executive search partner, leadership coach, and a negotiation expert. And I love to work with children. I'm a football coach, and I give leadership courses for children. So this is going to be a highly interactive presentation. And thank you, Kiki, for giving me the lead, because we're going to do a lot of work on our inside, you know, on what is moving us. So I just still try to figure this out, the art of getting in touch. So the next... It's this. Okay, thank you. So we're going to talk about the art of getting in touch with your authenticity. And the funny thing is, I said to Christine early on, actually we don't have to talk about that anymore, because so much was said already from so wonderful people. But what I want to tell you about is a bit of business wisdom. So I, in my role as an executive search partner, I talk to a lot of people from the company side and from the candidate side. And over hundreds of interviews, what struck me is that one decisive factor actually of getting hired or not, no matter of who you are or what you've done, is authenticity. So authentic people, they really shine. Authentic people, they're fine with who they are, and they are fine with what happened to their lives. And we've seen several examples who are in the room yesterday and today who are just fine with what happened to them. So these people exuberate more trustworthiness just on the job market, and they get hired more. So, but you don't just get out of bed one day saying, oh, I know who I am, right? Oh, this is me. It takes a journey. So I want to take you on a journey, 10 minutes. Very, very quick journey, ICE journey. And basically for that, I would ask you all to get up so that you get in the right space. That's kind of the first learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in on the count of 3 and breathe out on the count of 5. Yeah, a little yoga exercise. Are you all ready? So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the next time you breathe out, just let go of all your thoughts and everything and really place yourself in this room. So breathe in again on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, and out on the count of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Thank you. You can sit down again. So I have 2 numbers for you. 69%. 69% in a recent representative global survey, 69% of respondents said that they would give up 1% of their income to save the planet. Which is wonderful news, right? So, I mean, it's wonderful, so we can just kind of stop this conference and know everybody just gives their money and we go. Well, in the same survey, again, more or less 7 out of 10 people said, it doesn't matter anyway what I do. They completely lack the sense of agency. And we've heard about that actually in the last day and a half, yeah? It's so important not to have that. And no matter how small you know, the changes are that you want to do, or how insignificant the project that is at your heart might be to you, or you might think, oh, it's just me. It does matter. It does matter, and you do matter. It's really important. So we go on to fun thing, but first of all, I have a question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how fulfilled do you feel in your job? Just mental note. How fulfilled do you feel? Okay, some of you might say 10, maybe a lot say 10, maybe some people don't say that, okay? So we're getting to, you already see the cake, we're getting about something which is called the cake of possibility. So the cake of possibility is basically what we are born with. It's a cake that entails all of your possibilities. So imagine little slices, and every little slice actually represents a skill or an ability that you've got. And at the age of 3, even if this girl is a little bit older, you're really in the space of I can. So, you know, 3-year-olds are really fascinating beings. And everybody knows it. And if you just, I can see it in your faces when you think of a 3-year-old, you know, it makes you glow because they're so full of possibility. They want to become Superman, a football star, a ballerina, you name it. They're just going to crush you with whatever. You know, they're just there and they believe in it. Well, then life goes on and people start eating your cake. You know, parents, education, an F in math. For a lot of girls, also an F in PE, in sports, yeah? And suddenly you have the feeling, well, I can't do sports, I'm not really good at math. Then your siblings, your friends, your parents, your teachers, everybody tells you, yeah, you can't do this, you're not good at that, you have to be better at that. And so by the age of 17, this is all that is left of your cake, yeah? A little slice. And you're really, and that is the important thing, you're really in the mindset and zone of, oh, I can't. Oh no, can I? What do I have to do to be able to do that? What do I have to do to be able, rather than thinking, well, I can do it all. No, what do I have to? I have to do this program and that school and so on. So you become a shadow of yourself. And actually all of your dreams evaporate. And what is more important, even the joy of doing these things, you don't feel it anymore, you've forgotten about it. And you become something that people call a realist. Sounds familiar? Yeah. Okay, so let me just, so we'll all work on, like in the 7 minutes that I've got left, on restoring your cake, okay, a little bit. Let me tell you my story. So I had a mad godmother. She called me up one day and she asked me to go on a trip through the United States. I was 15 years old. So I just went and we were lucky enough to go to the Martin Luther King Memorial in Atlanta. And after the visit, I went to the bookstore, looked at the quotes and the books, and there was one, so this is my credo, there was this one sentence that, since the age of 15, reminded me when I didn't know where to go. These are my sons. And basically, it's this. I put it on, because this is what I believe in, but believe in yourself, and everything is possible. That's what I believe in. So the question is, what is your dream? We're going to do a very, very quick dream visualization exercise. So please get all up to your feet. Close your eyes. And this is going to be the WIN magic that Christine talked about. Close your eyes, and I'm now going to ask you several questions, and just trust what is going to come. What is your dream? Let come whatever comes. Who are you in this dream? What are you able to do in this dream? Who is around you? And the most important, how do you feel? Drink it all in. Thank you. We can elaborate on this theme later on in the workshop that I'll be giving. You can come to my workshop. I do it longer there, but I have a time constraint here. So now please sit down. We will continue on that theme, and I would like all of you, if possible, to grab pen and paper, and I'll ask you 2 questions. So the first question is, what is it that I'm really good at? I give you 30 seconds, and I want you to list at least 10 things. Okay, what is it that I'm really good at? And how much, in percentage, am I using these skills in my job? At least 10? At least 10. Okay? How much am I using this at my job? Okay, time is up. Where I wanted to get to, so you can continue that later, but it's a good exercise to do. Where I want to get to is basically our belief in ourselves is the most important thing that we can talk about now. And it's really about the importance of actively affirming your mindset, or you call it mind setting. Christine and I, we had well, it's not a a master, actually. He was a Shaolin monk and a Zen master, and he would always tell us that the life is not static, life is always active. So when I say think about your mindset, it's not I have a positive mindset, oh, the glass is half full, half empty. It's about verbs. How is and every time and all the time, not just say it one time in the morning, but say it when you meet somebody and you say, oh, I'm going to judge Alexandra. Yeah, she's just far too confident. And then thinking, hang on, what is happening with my mindset? Just do it all the time. And there's something else really important. In neuroscience, basically, we talk about trust. I don't know. Do you know that the brain is the most economic agent that you know? So the brain will do all the time everything to spend as little energy as possible. So if you want to spend really little energy so that you free up energy to do something else, you trust. So if you trust yourself, you trust in others, in your community, and you trust the world, the brain loves that. So that is really the best state of all. So if ever you feel like I'm really, really run down, it's really too much for me, start trusting, okay? And when we don't trust, when we lose trust, actually our brain reverts instantly into childhood coping strategies. And they, by definition, already take up a lot of energy, and they make you dysfunction because you will do things that were good when you were young, but they're not good anymore when you're an adult. Okay? So if you want to save energy, trust. The second thing is really in quantum physics, you say that every living being is made up of frequencies. We know that now, okay? So the thing for you now is, are you going to interpret your life in a positive way? Then this is going to change immediately your hormones, your cell structure, and so on. So are you going there and there's no neutral? Okay, so are you going up or are you going down? And so if you're in a really good mood, and everybody will know that you'll get into better mood and good things start happening. And I don't know if Karen Chair is here, but you talked about it yesterday, and I'm really grateful that sometimes it will take days, weeks, months, or even years to get into that other state of kind of, maybe less hope, and that it takes something to remind you again of, hey, this is why I'm doing that. I'm really grateful for that example because that's exactly what it's like, and I think all of us know what it feels like. One real big word of caution, there is no neutrality. Being neutral doesn't exist in life. So anybody who tells you, yeah, I'm neutral about it, 80% of the time they're depressed. And 80% of the time I'm depressed when I say that. I'm in the state of, oh, it doesn't matter anyway, and that's depression. So just think about it. Okay? And to continue on that theme, there is this Roman philosopher, Seneca, who wrote in one of his letters to his friend Lucius, giving trust, you have to first give trust, and then people, things, and the world becomes trustworthy. So it's almost like paying it forward. When you give trust, then your life will become what you say it will become. So don't do it the other way around, as we've learned that don't wait until good things happen to you. You must talk things into existence. And the one area where I can prove to you that it really happens all the time is in competitive sports. So you've got a lot of competitive sports mental coaches who train you to believe in winning even before the game. And they train you to believe in yourself even when you're losing. And this is when, in the end, you see, like, I don't know who saw, the World Championships or the Euro in football, a team like Georgia wins because they are the underdogs. It's not possible to win against Portugal, but they had such a good team spirit at that moment that they won. They won the unwinnable game, and you all can win your unwinnable game. Okay? But for that, and we talked about it today, Isabel talked about it today, you need to create rituals. Rituals are actually little things, little daily things that you do. And they're very personal to you. So whatever it is that matters to you, some people wash their face in the morning, they look in the mirror and they say, this is you. Other people, they might just have, I wanted to bring my little stuffed toy of my little son. My children, they really inspire me and they're like a ritual to me. So the important thing about rituals is, and brain research shows that again, our brain likes it kind of chucked up in little chunks. So do a little ritual every day. Isabel said it already, I give you now the permission in terms of like research that shows it. So it gets more in your neuronal pathways when you do it every day. If you just do it once a month or once a week, that's not enough. Don't do the big event, do small things. My ritual, I actually do a Joe Dispenza meditation every morning to basically to work with my energy centers. So consistency beats intensity. Right? We're almost finished. So when things don't work out as planned, and this is a big word of caution, and I'm talking to women here, so even more so, don't beat yourself up. Don't even think about it. Be good to yourself. Because the one thing that we are learning now is you are the most important person in your life to make change happen. No, not Christine, not our father, nobody else, us, it's me. So if I do it, if I really believe in myself, the last thing I want to do is like, do something bad to me and think badly about me. Okay, say, well, anyway, yeah, I'm stupid. Even this, don't do that. Oh yeah, I'm ugly, or yeah, I can't do that anyway. No, if you don't believe in yourself, how are you going? So first of all, it does something to your body, but then secondly, how are you going to convince other people of your greatness? Okay, so believing in yourself is going to be the make or break thing for your change to happen. Okay? So any journey starts with a breath. So in order to, and what I can tell you is that what is really important is that you remember. Probably you knew most or all of what I just told you. Remember, every day, find a way to remember this. And remember who you are and what you can do. And in order to remember that, for all of us, I want you all to get up once more. Okay, we're going to do the breathing exercise again. So we're going to breathe in on 3. 1, 2, 3, and let it all go on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if there was one thing that I would want to ask you is, what is your ritual going to be? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Julia, for bringing us into this journey and for showing that beautiful picture at the end. I remember we were in India. We had a wind tour to India last year. Wow, that's so nice. But what I wanted to say was something else, which was also this thing of the neural pathways, because this is really, really powerful that we train our body, and suddenly the body does it without you having to decide to do it, which is really, really important. So, and to do different things, right? So, wow, thank you so much. We have to run to the next person. We could discuss a lot of these things, but I know that our time is kind of going away from us. Thank you very much. Thank you for it. We are running a little bit over, but I thank you for your patience. It's a pretty nice time.
Thank you, Kristen. And I'm so happy to be here and talking about what I'm passionate about. And it's so interesting because there's so many synchronicities that I have with everybody today on the panel, which is part of my presentation. I I want to invite you to consider this in terms of dynamic flow. That your corporation, your business, your nonprofit, your organization, your family, your group, your tribe can only will flow as dynamically and harmonically as you do. So today I bring to you 8 ways or 8 key elements to dynamic flow, kind of hard-earned, I would say, through the hard knocks of life, which how things develop and are organic. I'm going to begin with story. I love to tell story. I'll tell story through my life with my daughter and also through nature. I was living in upstate New York. It was not that long ago, a few years back, and I got invited to go spend time in nature and to talk to trees. And I'll go back with that. I see that my energy is like electric right now when you get nervous, right? Yes, come and spend some time in nature. So it was a benign spot. It was a thatched hut. It was a place where Boy Scouts usually hang out. 7 women, a picnic table. And before long, we were given our little card of instructions and go find your tree and talk to your tree. So I went out and I immediately came to a meadow, and I looked across the meadow and huge white pine tree, and I go, oh, that's my tree. So I barrel across the meadow and arrive to the white pine tree, and kind of like, here I am, and I'm sure it's all happened to all of us at some point and another. There's absolutely no interest in my arrival to the tree. But I don't give up. I go, no, my tree maybe is behind this tree. So I go behind the tree, and sure enough, there I feel is my tree. And I get close to the tree, and I follow instructions, and can I touch you, and can I lean on you? And then I begin to really see the tree. So I see the tree that's tall and thin, and it kind of had my scoliosis, and then I begin to feel the bark, and I can feel the scalloped bark, and I love clothes, I love fabric, everything turns into a dress for me, and then I notice that it has kind of a pink hue, and pretty soon I'm really bonding with this tree. And the bell rings, and I can hear it, and I go, okay, no, say goodbye to the tree. And as I turn around, and we'll see if this now wants to go forward. Is it to point where? Maybe. As I turn around, there's the filament ahead of me, not so much as that. Oh, wow. Okay, wait. Okay. So as I turn around, there's a filament that I can see straight ahead. And it's waist high, and it's the quantum field. It's the actual subatomic energy of nature, of the force of nature, of this field, of this global information field that surrounds us. And in that grove of trees, I hear this message. Wow, that's skipping around. Okay. I hear this message to tell our story. So I'm standing there in the grove of trees, and from the outside of me, I hear tell our story. So it was almost feeling a bit like ganged up on, but you can imagine the trees going, oh, there she is. She understands. We're all connected. There really is a connection between nature and all conscious beings. And she may really tell our story about that interconnection. And I went back to my group. I didn't say anything, but it's held in my heart. And thinking about today and the message of today, I looked and really delving into what was the tree's message. And the trees are so known for their interconnectivity that's underground, that is invisible, that it's called the wood wide web. Their roots go underground, they go deep, they go wide. There's fungus around the roots. The mycelium surrounds it, and then in the underground of the forest is this interconnection which delivers all the nutrients wherever they need to go. So it needs to go here or there. There's a repair that's needed to happen to a particular tree, and it happens. Interestingly, the mother tree at the time of dying, she sends all of her nutrients down into the roots that go everywhere, right? And we think of the women, the global leaders, the elders around the world that are really disseminating their wisdom, their nutrients, their energy down and out and spreading around the world. This interconnected web is real. It's what science is telling us is real. It's not real because there's been 2 years of science. There's been 60, 70 years of hard science that our mind exists outside of self. We have the power, and this field of energy that wraps in, around, and through us operates differently. And those who come to understand it, it is the future. It's the playing field of the future, as those who understand how this works, because it is who we are. Time is different. Space is different. Time is different in that present, past, and future collapse into one. That is why if you have a dream 2 days before you come to a WINConference, and in the dream you are sharing clothing because your luggage doesn't arrive, it is a premonition. It is telling you something about what may really happen. And in fact, I should have paid attention to my dream and packed accordingly, because at the airport, my suitcase was not there, and I have fresh clothes on for the first time today. Time collapses. The other thing with time is that it is circular. We know this as women. The idea that time is an arrow has us all slaves to time, competing in time, always winning. There's no downtime. There's no cycle of time. It's the illusion that's been created for power, for control, for many, many reasons. But really, this energy, this field, our original field, works like this. It's cyclical. We know that as women. It's round, cyclical, like the moon, like the sun, like the 4 cardinal directions, like the 4 seasons. And we pass through those seasons, and we respond to them and allow that passage of time in a circular way to inform us, to shape us, and we respond to it as our circadian rhythm, and we're in coherence with that and in rhythm with that. Our life is in flow, and that is, in fact, part of dynamic flow. And recognizing that. And the other part of my story is nature is also my daughter. My daughter was born in 1984. It was the Dominican Republic, and I had married the prince. And I was soon, any day, going to move into the castle, right? I was going to have 4 children. It was the plan. It was the plan that I lived in, the illusion I was living. But in 1984, after giving birth to my daughter, Alexandra, the neurosurgeon there and the pediatrician walked into the room. And of course, my husband would have been there, and said, "Your daughter has a severe disability. She will never walk. Her brain will have some anomalies." And indirectly, and this and that, through the grapevines, was to leave your daughter into the hospital, and she will transpire. We'll take care of her, she will kind of feed, but that is the best thing for you to do, for you, your family, and that's our recommendation. All the white coats, all the members of my family, in the end, having that perspective. The other aspect, the key elements of living in dynamic flow, is to be able to align with your own truth, no matter what. And as women, it is time. We have to align with our own truth, no matter what. And my truth was that my daughter was coming home with me, right? That was my truth. And when I align with that, when we align with our truth, miracles happen. So on July 5th, 1985, we left the Dominican Republic. We moved to Miami. My husband continued his career in international banking, and my world just opened up. Because the life that is waiting for you has a chance to arrive when you let go of the river. You've got to let go. You have to have the courage to let go of the river. and to go with that flow, go with the life that has arrived. I gave up the illusion of the castle and the prince and the 4 children, because what was in front of me was a child that needed me. Right? Ah, so emotional. How many times I talk about my daughter? Right. And what happened? I found my voice. I found my inner power. I gave power to thousands and thousands and thousands of other mothers with children with disabilities. I founded a nonprofit. The medical school created a position that kind of only I could qualify for, so that I would get it. And come and teach doctors of how to work with families from the heart, and creating a network of children and families to empower, to find your own voice, to stand up for what is right for you as an individual with disability and families. This field, this quantum field, works in symbols, patterns, numbers. July 5th, I moved to Miami, 1996. And I told myself at that moment, that day, we moved to Miami in 1985. So, July 5th, the same date, July 5th, in 1996, my daughter passes away. And it was a tragic death, and she was 12 years old. But it was July 5th again that I had this opportunity to sit across from this man who really had this incredible capacity to explain this quantum field, this interconnected field, and how it is that love never dies, we never die. Life really is that circle of being born, living, death, and renewal, and life lives on. And that changed my world. I knew it was time for me to leave the university. It was 12 years. I was director of a major training program, but it was time. There was a better way to empower families, to empower individuals, and that was this way, to know that we are part of an interconnected web that works, of a universal love that works in miracle ways. So I went on and I trained in energy medicine and Akashic records and more energy medicine and shamanic medicine, and have been working with families for now 15 years in this field. The power of 3. There's numerology, there's numbers. Again, this universe works in energy. And if 3 comes to you, and we heard that in some of our stories today, that 3 comes to you, if there's 2 things good happening to you, look for the 3rd. If there's 2 things bad happening to you, look for the 3rd. And what happened to me in 2023 is 3 things again came to me. In 1996, it was my daughter's death, my divorce, and my loss of my home. This was a very mild, dynamic change in 2023. But I gave up my house. I sold my house. I said, I got to go look for partners. I'm dying on the vine here. This isn't resonating. This isn't my tribe. I'm going to go find partners who really want to work with me and bring this information about the power of our mind to heal others, to heal ourselves, to direct energy, and the circle of life. To youth and to parents. I feel the most empowering message that there is. And this is everywhere that I went, starting out in Seattle, Washington. And when I came to Greece, and I came there to dance the Sufi dance, Whirling Dervish, and I meet Louisiana Mies. And we connect on this area of energy and medicine and youth, and she's been working with youth. And come to find out, she's a movie director. And she leaves after our time in Greece at Music Village near Volos, for anyone here. And she texts me and she goes, my next movie, I want it to be about that. What you do, what you know, let's team up and let's make a movie. So we've been working on this for a year now. It's called Curious Youth. Anyone interested, please let me know. So the world opens up when you let go of the river, when you respond to your heart, when you know what to do and you have the courage to do it. So I end up at Broughton Sanctuary, Yorkshire Dales, the shamanic energy medicine, the science and consciousness. There's 60 geeks that are heavy meditators, but also scientists, and I'm helping them, go into a shamanic journey. And I love the castle. It was like, oh my gosh, see, the time is this, that snake eats its tail, it comes back around. If what you are on your heart, particularly young people here, and it's not here now, know that time isn't an arrow in your past and you've missed it. Time is circular, and it will come to you when it is the right time for you. And now is not always the right time. But we held these things on the heart, right? So I arrived at this castle and I'm like, all right, this is my time. The castle I'm finally here, right? Still waiting for the prince, But so I arrived at the castle and I talked to the Roger Tempest. He's like the governor of the castle, 32nd generation, actually. And I go, can I stay? I've got this flow going on that's unbelievable. I want to write a book. Can I stay? Can I have kind of a writer's compensation? So I stay there for 6 months. My book's out there. And write a book on 24/7 flow. But I haven't given up this castle. Now I have 2 other castles that have come into my being in terms of what, the power of the history of land and of transformation and bringing those together. So I'm doing a retreat there in November. And lo and behold, what I didn't know what was going to happen at the castle was my first book, my first story was going to go like this in terms of time. I walk into the spa, Avalon. There's Sarah. I don't know her very well, but she's the director of Avalon. And I need now a measurement for my Sufi skirt because now I've taken serious on my whirling dervish dance. So I bring a tape measure and I said, would you just measure? I can't get from here to here all by myself. So she goes, sure. She's measuring. She goes, this reminds me, my grandmother was a seamstress and, my grandfather made shoes. And I was looking at her and thinking UK, it kind of didn't make sense. She was probably 35. I said, no, here in the UK. And she goes, no, I'm from the Dominican Republic. Oh, really? I lived there. I lived there for 3.5 years. I loved this artist, didn't say anything, that artist, all's well. And she goes, no, but both of my parents are physicians. I go, really? Okay, yeah, my dad's a neurosurgeon, actually. He was a neurosurgeon. Oh, and then the red alert, the body tightens. And I go, what's his name? He goes, Puello. Really? And he's on page 18 in my book. And my brain froze. I couldn't see anything. I bent over in a sobbing that I couldn't stop. Even thinking she would be, I was insulting her father and her, like what was the sob? I couldn't stop because the trauma of the 8 months that I remained in the Dominican Republic with my daughter from one horrific situation to another was all held in me, right? Was all held in me, in my body, and it was time to let it go. Interestingly, Sarah was born 3 months before my daughter. In conversation, we have 31 first cousins on our maternal side. Her brother is my son's age, and we left Broughton the same week. She leaves her position at Broughton, and it happens to be the same week I did. That year that she was there was my window of time to come back in time. And this is what this beautiful energy of the quantum field does for us. Is forever loving. Is forever loving. Because in that healing, and true for all of you here, is that what we want to do, the shoes we want to wear, are bigger than what we currently have on. And if we don't clean our act, if we don't clear our wounds, our traumas, our misperceptions of ourselves, of being small, of being unimportant, whatever our stories are, we cannot fill the shoes needed to match the mission that each of us in this room has on our heart. So the field comes in time twists and turns like a pretzel. It is not an arrow, in order to take us exactly where we need to go. And you flow with that, and you do the work, and life continues to open up bigger and bigger and bigger. And actually, for me, being here at WIN is part of that bigger story that opened up for me after Broughton. So my 8 elements for flow is set intention. When I left, I had intention. I want to meet partners. One was a romantic, but that's what, life still's flowing, right? But I want good business partners. Set intention. Let go of the river. Follow your heart. Know what is on it. The great work that we did today. Courage. Face your demons. Listen and watch for signs. You love what is. What's in front of you? Let go of the illusions. Fall in love with what is. And gain the knowledge. And when we're feeling flow, there's no way that you don't feel this. When you tap into the field and you know really who you are and feeling that connection, that interconnection, that love with self and beyond, and see that sparkly dust that can flow across the field, you will be in awe. Not only with you, but with life. And this is what happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, thank you so much. I was just thinking about, like, the order of how this is also like a flow, isn't it? So, ladies, I know we are like half an hour at least over time. So, the workshops were supposed to start right now, after half an hour. Oh, we are 45 minutes late. That's very, very late. But I think it was worth it. Yeah. So what I suggest is that I think you probably need half an hour of break. You need 15 minutes? Is that enough? 15 minutes. Okay. So let's do it this way. The workshop starts at 5. The workshops ends at 6:30. You go straight from the workshops to the cocktail party. If you are dying to, of course you have to go to the washroom and things like that. But don't necessarily change, because then we will get very late. If that's okay. Okay, it's a free evening, but maybe some of you want to go to Rome and so on and so forth also. So let me look at the time. It is 16:46. Workshops at 5, or workshop 5:05, you finish 18:35, okay? So now you have exactly 18 minutes break, yeah? 18-minute break. But before we say that, and it's gonna be 17 minutes, because we wanna give these ladies a big warm applause, and thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this was simply the right time to end this session. We were going with the flow. Okay, thank you all for being here to listen, and see you again at the cocktail, in the workshop, and so on and so forth. Did I forget anything? Picture.